Hey all, the 11th of the 11th, Armistice Day. Welcome to Newspaper Breakdown. A few things to go through. Hope everyone's doing. Research by the BBC has found that the NHS is increasingly paying premium rates for agency staff to fill the holes in the rota. Spending in that area rose 20% last year to 3 billion in England. So bosses have been so short-staffed that they've been willing to break the government's pay cap rules on what can be spent on agency workers, which are mostly doctors and nurses, with the NHS trusts have paid as much as 2,500 to nurses to fill shifts. Doctors expected to be being paid more than that. Think about what we've got with the NHS strike at the moment, and all of the constant arguments of there's no money left. There's no money. That's just where we're going to get the money from. If you pay nurses a decent amount and stop treating them like shit, then potentially the agency workers will come back and you can pay nurses to be able to eat food, because you'll be saving money because you won't be paying them £2,500 for a fucking shift. NHS is able to do that. You're able to give them a pay rise. It's not a difficult thing. It's not beyond the realms of complexity. I always have to be wary with that when you've got complex and simple. Always be wary when someone gives you a simple answer to something complex. And always be wary if someone gives you a complex answer to something simple. That's one of the tricks that you find when you're being fucking conned by governments, by self-help books and all the concepts of masculinity and the trans issues and all of this. There are very simple answers to simple questions out there. Like, are trans women women? Sure. Because saying anything else is, why would you treat a human being badly? It just makes no sense. There's no reason going out of your way to hurt people. What else we got? We got the Federal Trade Commission has said that you notice there is not as many arguments for is a trans man than is a trans woman. What always baffles me is watching those that have had to fight the hardest for equality be so quick to take equality away from others. It baffles me, and I'm a straight white man. I haven't had to fight for equality. I've always had more of it than most. So it just, although I do care, I do believe that equality is a good thing, and considering that it's of no benefit to me, one could argue that just makes me better. Oh God, try to work that into a joke on stage, and I'm not sure how to do it. I'll get there in the end though. Federal Trade Commission has said that Elon Musk is not above the law, which is a shock to the law, and it is watching events at Twitter with deep concern after the platform's top privacy and compliance officer reportedly quit. Musk has also told his staff, reportedly, that bankruptcy for Twitter is not out of the question. It is impressive to watch a man considered by some of the worst people in the world to be a genius. It is impressive watching him fail so spectacularly. It is beautiful. absolutely beautiful. With Amazon losing $1 trillion and Musk proving that unless he's got his engineers around him to actually do shit, that he's a useless fuck who has no conception of anything. It is sweetness. You've got a rise in fake accounts because of the verification with the blue tick. You can get your blue tick for $8 and then you can put it on, verify yourself as anything you like and have fun with it. Which is putting a lot of issues for the advertisers who advertise with Twitter. Although the thing with the advertising for Twitter is what you have to take into account is that for a lot of the companies, the cut, the slice that they give Twitter for advertising is tiny for them. Absolutely tiny. They put a lot more money to Google and Facebook than they do for advertising in Twitter. Although Twitter makes most of his money from advertising, it's not make or break for companies. I'm a celeb, which we have to fucking talk about now for some fucking reason. Because Matt Hancock's there, so it's in the newspapers every 2 seconds. Matt Hancock has acknowledged that there was no excuse for his actions that led to his resignation. After being photographed, of course, kissing a colleague during the pandemic, but insisted he fell in love. It's like hearing Romeo and Juliet for the first time, without the fun of them dying at the end. It's not because of that. It's not because he fell in love. He didn't resign because he understood the pain that everyone was feeling. He resigned because he got caught. They only resigned because they got caught. They don't have a fucking heart in their fucking bodies. They were made of wood, and they were, instead of given a heart, they were seemingly, it's like if Pinocchio was, instead of given a heart, was just given an empty husk and still had to move around and make decisions. Labour MP Charlotte Nichols has claimed that there is a whisper list of around 40 politicians to keep at arm's length at Westminster, including 2 former cabinet ministers. She was warned not to accept a drink or be alone with them. This is the spoken list, not written down anywhere, and includes people who are known for bullying and sexual misconduct. These MPs who should stay away from come from a range of parties. I know you and I would both go, I see the Tories have their own list. No, it's everyone's a cunt, not just what you'd expect. Including a senior Tory MP has also said that she had been warned of which male journalists to avoid in Parliament, showing that it doesn't matter where you are, men are cunts. There's something, you have to do something like put a fucking bell on men. If that's what you have to do to keep women safe, put a bell on them. It's just so you can hear them coming at least. It is ridiculous. It just... Get it? There's no rhyme or reason for it. There is absolutely no rhyme or reason to continue being an absolute shithead in 2022. There isn't. There just fucking isn't. The charity-operated ship carrying hundreds of asylum seekers was rescued from hundreds of asylum seekers rescued from the Mediterranean. Has docked in the French military port after nearly 3 weeks stuck offshore, during which Italy's new far-right government failed to give it a safe port. This is where we're heading. By the way, this is what happens when you have a rise in the far-right. More people die. Now, if you keep an eye on the Italian government, you can assume that this one is going to last about fucking 5 months till we get another election. We can't really joke about that because we're all over the place as well. The French government has promised to retaliate against Italy for not respecting international law, to give port to a boat in international waters. There was 57 children on this boat, and Italy said nah. And Le Pen, who is another far-right nutjob, has come out and said that the French are too soft on immigration, which is something that everyone says. All the far-right stuff say, oh, too soft. I would want to force them to watch a child drowning and see how they feel about the softness of immigration, because it's the only thing that you can really do. It's over in the UN and EU meetings, they tend to do what would you call it? Immigration role play or refugee role play. That's what they've done. They've done it in the past a few times, and my argument is it's not role play. It's not. I mean, they stand in a queue and get a sandwich. If you really wanted to do refugee role play, you get all of these leaders and you get one of their children and you chuck them into a pool, and then they all have to try to save the children, but they're not allowed in the pool. And then the last child that gets saved gets held under and gets killed. And then that would be a refugee role playing. And then as the parent is crying with grief over the death of their child, at that point we hand them a fuck ton of paper that they have to fill out. And we tell them that we don't care about their child. And then we fuck them off to Rwanda. That's refugee role play. That's how I would do it. To see how they really feel about this idea of allowing children to drown. Just Stop Oil have halted protests on the M25 to give time for the government to consider their responsibilities. So expect them back doing it within a week, because the government will not do anything. You also got, and this is finally, a whistleblower from the Environment Agency has said that the government has no idea how much water is being taken from rivers and groundwater as parts of England remain in drought, despite, of course, the continuous heavy rainfall that we've seen up and down the country. So most abstraction points for farmers, small businesses, private water suppliers were not metered, and monitoring does not take place, and if it does, then it's unreliable data that they're getting. So the data that they do get has to be taken as gospel, because they're just getting data from whatever the business or the individual says. This is what I took. This is what I took on this day. So we have to go, well, fine. I mean, there's no other way of knowing. So we have to believe that people are inherently good, and they're not. People lie. Everyone's a cunt. Everyone lies. Rule 101. That's it. Once you understand that, life gets a lot easier. Because this is the thing, like these businesses, these individuals, these farms, they're not going to put down illegal numbers. They're not going to go, oh, I tell you, I broke the law here. Oh, what a Wednesday. They're not going to do that, because that madness, isn't it? Absolute madness. If you were caught doing, if there's one thing being caught doing something wrong, there's another going up to someone and going, mate, oh, I murdered that bloke in there. No, you're not going to do it, are you? Major problems that the EA has was don't have enough people. years of claim from the government that they're going to review and reform the laws that we have in place for our water, and nothing's ever happened. And we have no plans to force additional water meters so that we can actually get our own data into how much water is being taken, see if anyone else is breaking the law. But no plans for that, because that would be something of use. Well, it's Friday. I don't do shit on the weekend, so I will catch you all on Monday. Have a good one. Bye.